Good day, Sport World viewers on our YouTube channels and listeners to us on our radio channel on Urban Radio Scope. It's still your best sports news program on radio and also on the big screen. It's News Instanta Sports. I know the voice sounds different. That's because it's Kachi today as the host. You could call me Oracle Kachi because when I make my predictions, they happen. Like I predicted that I would kidnap Debo. Debo has been kidnapped this week, but rest assured, it's just for a short while. I got the rest of the gang with me. I've got Sheyi here with me. I got Olawale here. Olainka will not be here today, but we have a new kid on the block that will be standing in for Olainka and also going forward in the future. I will let everybody introduce themselves, and maybe you will hear Debo's voice. Sheyi, I will start with you. You want to say hi to the listeners?
Hi, everyone, and welcome to the show today. I'm very sure that you enjoy yourself.
Thank you very much, Sheyi. Olawale, you want to say hi to our listeners globally?
Yeah, hello, sporting fans around the world. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Wale. Well, because I'm such a nice guy, I decided to allow Debo in. Debo, you're going to say hi to the fans and let them know why you're on the other side of the world.
Actually, Kachi kidnapped me, but I'm back. I had to do a super match to be back here. And today I'm representing Bayern Munich.
To the Bayern fans, I feel so sorry for you guys, but not really too bad because you don't have so much competition in the Bundesliga. And to the newest member of our team, he's going to be our bridge between our show and our listeners in the United States. It's an avid Arsenal fan, like Debo is, even though Debo is switching. But I'll give him a chance to introduce himself. We call him TJ, but his name is Tunji. Tunji, you want to say hi?
Hello, everybody. How you guys doing? You're welcome to this program. We hope to keep you entertained, and we believe that, me adding coming to this program, we're going to have more fun on the program, and we hope to keep you entertained as we move forward in our daily activities. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much, TJ. We believe that we're better with you also on the team, and we expect our fans to feel your impact as well. So we're going to jump straight right into it, and we're starting today with the NBA. After 6 games in both the Eastern and Western Conference Finals, we finally have the 2 teams that will be representing the East and the West in the NBA Finals. The Phoenix Suns, who successfully navigated the banana skin of the LA Clippers, the bottom boys in the Staples Center, will be meeting another Eastern Conference rising star in the Milwaukee Bucks, who also successfully navigated the Atlanta Hawks, even though they did that in games 5 and 6 without Giannis Antetokounmpo. The Bucks won game 6 in Atlanta, 118-107. On the back of a frenetic third quarter by Chris Middleton. Olawale, I'm going to start with you on this show. And the question to you would be, how impressive was this victory of the Milwaukee Bucks over the Atlanta Hawks, especially as they did this without Giannis Antetokounmpo? And do you think that they should see Giannis as dispensable, seeing that they were able to do what the number 1 seeded team, the Philadelphia 76ers, couldn't do in 6 games? Wale?
Yeah, Kachi, this is a very straightforward question. It's the Milwaukee Bucks. Congratulations to them. I think this will be their first final since 1974. And doing it in game 5 and game 6 without Giannis Antetokounmpo is actually a very great feat. If you recall game 4, they were actually down by 6 or 8 when Giannis went down with that injury. Thank God it wasn't as bad as we all initially felt. Mm-hmm. Well, what happened next was they were down by more than 13 points. So there were a lot of fears across board, like, can they do it without Giannis? And game 5, they responded. I was probably disappointed in the Atlanta Hawks because I think they lost game 5 in the first quarter. If you look at, they lost the game by like 10 points, but in the first quarter, they were down by as many as 15, 18 points.
Yeah.
In game 6, we saw Chris Middleton doing what he did, I think in game 2. Was it in game 2 or game 3? Yeah, it was in game 3. This is something he's capable of doing, but we want to see this from him on a consistent basis. So eventually, I'm happy for them. They are in the finals. On whether Giannis is indispensable, I don't think so. They need Giannis in the final, at least to keep the 18 at bay. Because without Giannis, I'm sure the 100 will be much more impactful in the finals. And without Giannis, it's easier. It will be easier for the Phoenix Suns to guard Chris Middleton and Drew Holiday. But with Giannis, it's a different dimension entirely. So it's not they can't do without him for now. If he's fit, he has to play. If he's not fit, I don't want him to jeopardize his career just because of a final.
Well, very, very well said, Wale. We don't know how soon the Bucks will get back to the final. Let's not forget that they tried to do this as the best team in the NBA with 60 wins, but they faced the Toronto Raptors after winning game 1 and game 2, lost the next 4. In the bubble last year, we also saw them lose to a team, the Miami Heat, that we thought they shouldn't lose to. So great feat and congratulations to them doing this. But for you to say Giannis should not play if it's not 100%, I probably would say if it's at 50, 60%, then he should get some minutes, if only to keep DeAndre Ayton honest. Let's not forget that they met twice in the regular season. Both games were won by the Suns, even though in those 2 games, Giannis scored 80 points and had close to 20 assists as well.
And
so I see what you mean.
Won by a single margin.
Yes.
By a single point. Sorry.
2 points or 3 points. Yes.
Suns won the 2 games by a single point. That shows you how close the final is going to be.
Yes. Thank you. TJ, Tunji, the next question is going to be for you. I know you are beyond being a Brooklyn Nets fan, you are first and foremost the Beard. You are a big follower of the Beard, James Harden. You've been following his career from when he was in OKC to the Rockets and now to the Nets. And it turned out that the Milwaukee Bucks defeated your beloved team. I believe you saw 2 of their games as well in New York. Now, my question to you is this. Seeing how the Nets were able to take the much vaunted Milwaukee Bucks attack and perimeter defending, Brook Lopez, Giannis, like we mentioned, Drew Holiday, they took them to game 7. And if not for the big feat of Kevin Durant, would have probably won the game. Do you think that this is a series do you think this is a series that the Milwaukee Bucks would easily win, or should we be expecting close to 7 games in this series? TJ? Okay, if TJ is not here, Debo, can you chip in and let me know, what do you expect from this series? Are you expecting a 7-game series, or do you think that either the Phoenix Suns or the Milwaukee Bucks will finish this up in 6? Let's not forget that for the first time in 10 years, there's no LeBron, there's no Steph Curry. There will be a brand new NBA champion. Nobody in that team has won a ring before. What do you think?
Yeah, honestly, for the backdrop of what you just said, it's fun and it's very nice that we'll have a new champion this year, which makes other sense. For the match itself, for the game itself, I think it's going to go down the wire to game 7. And that's because it did keep resonating in my mind, and the name is Devin Booker, right? I know he's going to bring the A game. He's going to show a lot of skills, intensity, tenacity, and the rest. Of course, like Olade said, Giannis should not put his down the line. But this is probably his best chance to win a championship, to win the ring. So for me, I think it's going to go down to the wire. Game 7, given what we saw in the regular season, those guys, you can't really take anything away from, like, there's no much difference between the two in terms of. So I think it's going to go down to game 7, and whoever brings the A game on the game night is going to take the series for me.
Okay, very, very, very good analysis as well, Debo. Wale mentioned it that the first 2 games they played in the regular season, I think one was won by 1 point, the other by 2 points as well. But Wale, I'm going to come back to you here, and this is going to the Western Conference Finals. We have a fantastic storyline in CP3, 16 years in the league. I mean, Devin Booker was 8 years old when Chris Paul was a rookie in the NBA. He was 8 years, because Devin Booker is about, I think he's 24 now or so. So so it lets you know how far, 16 years in the league, he's finally playing in his first ever NBA Finals. With or without the finals, I personally believe that he's a shoe-in to the Basketball Hall of Fame. But how would you categorize Chris Paul's journey and how he culminates? Do you think he needs an NBA final to validate his status as an all-time great point guard? Or do we look at him like a Charles Barkley or Karl Malone, who never won the league, Patrick Ewing, but I mean, they are still regarded as greats of the NBA game?
Yeah, thank you, Kachi. Yeah, for me personally, I think Chris Paul winning a championship probably will not change my view about where I rank him among the game elite. He has already paid his dues. Chris Paul's achievements, if you look at it, from his days in New Orleans to the Clippers, right to Houston, with a 1 year he spent at Oklahoma City before settling for the Suns. One thing is common is that Chris Paul is the kind of a guy that said the right tune, that changes the culture of an organization. For all those teams he's been to, he has made a massive impact. Yeah. If you recall that when he was in Houston, as good as the Golden State Warriors were, they were the only team that the Golden State Warriors, including Kevin Durant, a fully healthy Golden State Warrior, it was only Houston Rockets that took them to seven games in the Western Conference Final in 2018. And if Chris Paul has not actually sustained that hamstring injury, we don't know. Probably they could have taken down the Golden State Warriors. So he has been a bit unfortunate throughout his career. 2016 is either injury to one of his teammates or he himself sustaining one injury or the other. As far as I'm concerned, they don't call him a point guard just for nothing. He has paid his dues. He's a fantastic player. He's a big time player. He rises to the occasion when it's mattered most. Winning the championship for me, we just revalidate all the good work he has done in the last 16 years. Not winning it will not dent his image, and for me, will not change probably my own mind and majority of, let me say, basketball fans about where Chris Paul is ranked among the greats of the game.
Okay, thank you very much. And very.
I might keep it something to what Olawale said. Fantastic baller. You can't take that away from him. But the fact is still, sometimes you need championship to actually cement your name in history. Not taking away his ability, not taking away him being one of the best ever to do it in his position. But winning the championship will remove the board from his career. We might say he's one of the best point guard ever to grace the NBA, but there'll always be a board that why didn't he win the championship? So for me, to using Olawale's English, I'll say to okay, moving away from Larry's English of revalidating, I'll say to cement his name, to cement his name and clear all doubts, the championship win would be a great one. And of course, don't forget, Katrina, I told you, I'm rooting for the Suns. So,
unfortunately for the Suns, because Debo is rooting for you, I'm very sure the Milwaukee Bucks will be winning this. I will be
Please,
segueing
Debo,
to
don't root for the
TJ.
Suns. I'm begging you. Don't root for the Suns, please.
I've been pleading as well on our Instagram pages. Please, at the end of the show, I will let you know what our handles are. Please engage with us. Send your DMs, communicate with us. We want to hear your views. TJ, I'm coming back to you again. We lost you there for a minute. I was talking about how you must have felt really pained, with the Milwaukee Bucks that your beloved team, the Brooklyn Nets, lost to in 7 games, will be in the final. Now, my question really would be, point blank, who would win? And where will we find the key battles in this final between the Bucks and the Suns? There seems to be not so much standout player, so to speak, but there also seems to be not so much difference between them. But in your own opinion, who would win and where would the battle be won? TJ? Okay, Wale, let me throw that to you. Who would win? Can you give us your
Well,
pitch?
no, what's the
right
question? Sorry, what's the question again?
TJ is back.
Who will win what?
Okay, TJ, who would win the NBA Finals, and what would be the key battles between the Suns and the Bucks? Who is going to win?
Well, in my opinion, so from the kind of sport that I like, soccer. When you watch soccer is an organized sport, right? So when you watch basketball, you presume that you want to see organization in the way they approach the game. And in my own opinion, if you want to look at organization, togetherness, sportsmanship, friendliness, and zeal to want to win the championship, I feel like the odds are in favor of the Suns. Nothing. Everybody doubted Chris Paul. An absolute outstanding basketball player, well organized, a good mentor for the other guys. Another number 1 pick in Aiden. We have Devin Booker, an outstanding basketball, shooting guard. And the other pieces that make up that team, I feel like come this game, if they win 1 game at the Bucks, this is going to be difficult because I think the Phoenix Suns are number.
I think they have the home
one,
court
right?
advantage.
Yeah, they have home court
home court
advantage.
advantage.
Game 1 is on
this
Tuesday. Yeah,
I'm telling you, it's over.
it's over.
If you look at, it's over because you must understand that Giannis is injured, right? There's going to be a plan. I promise you that. Just watch out for the Phoenix Suns. It's going to be a different. It's going to be a different approach. People are going to wonder, like, where did this come from? They are an outstanding basketball player. If you talk about key moments in the game, you can talk about one of the players that has to be marked properly by the Phoenix Suns is Chris Middleton. Middleton right now has put himself as an all-star caliber kind of player. However, with Giannis out and I can't remember what the other guy's name. With Giannis out right now, it is to the disadvantage for the Bucks because he can't come back and be 100% right now with the kind of injury that he had. Because I think
I'm going to send a follow-up.
Odds are in favor
of the Suns. Okay, I'm going to send a follow-up question to you, Tunji, in just one sentence. Giannis is expected to miss maybe the first 2 games. Do you think that the Bucks can split 1 game in Arizona, in Phoenix, between game 1 and game 2? And Wale, as soon as TJ answers, I also want to just quickly, do you think the Milwaukee Bucks can win at least 1 game in the first 2 games without Giannis Antetokounmpo?
Not possible.
Not possible. Wale, what do you think? Hola, Wale. Okay, we can't get Wale there. Debo, what do you think? Is it possible for the Bucks to split game 1 and game 2?
Without Giannis,
Without Giannis,
I don't think so. honestly.
Okay. I think it's possible. It's very doable. I'm not saying that's what will happen, but I think it's possible that, you know, Chris Middleton gets really hot and Drew Holiday as well as Brook Lopez. Let's not forget the young boy Byron Forbes as well. I think it's very possible that game one, game two will be split, and that will give Giannis 2 weeks of rest before he plays game three. And if
Game
he
three.
gets 2 weeks of rest on that hyperextended knee, um, I think the Bucks will be able to win. I think the Bucks will be able to win.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to move really straight for lack of time. We're going to move really straight to tennis. And in talking tennis, we'll be talking Wimbledon. There's been a lot of drama happening in Wimbledon. We previewed this in our shows the last 2 weeks, from the many withdrawals to the recent complaints by the players, both the ones currently in running for winning and those who have lost, about the state of the turf. Not just the turf, as well as the weather in England. There's been several injuries happening right there in SW, I think it's SW9 in England. Sheyi and Debo, I will be coming to you here, but Debo, I will start first with you. What is your take on this number of complaints by these players? Do you think it's very valid? I mean, should they just, as professional athletes, suck it up, play with whatever turf they find or whatever the weather gives them? Or do you think that Wimbledon should stick, especially with center court, with closing the court and everybody having a closed roof and playing a game without the influx of weather? What is your opinion on this?
Yeah, I feel most people will tell the athletes to shut up and suck it off, right? But for this, it's actually wrong. And this is my reason why I'm saying that. We've seen so many retirements in this tournament. Like, it's almost unprecedented in the history of Wimbledon. Serena, Federer's first game, Kyrgios game as well, and a couple of other games, like four or five games in this tournament alone. And basically, it just goes to show that the organizers are not well organized. If I'm permitted to use that English, they are not well organized. You feel the weather is bad, and the best you can do is not to make alternatives to make the athletes a little bit more comfortable. It's not going to take anything away from them. Close the turf, make the place more conducive for the athletes, and of course shy away from all this kind of controversy. For me, it's an avoidable controversy, and it's something that you should be looking to, especially going forward.
Thank you so much, Sheyi, for that. I personally am of the opinion that the Wimbledon probably is the grandfather of the major tennis Grand Slam, and as such, they should be leading the way in innovation and in technology.
Exactly.
We currently have closed roof, I believe, on the Rod Laver court in Australia. I think we have a closed roof also in the US Open. I'm not exactly sure about the French Open and the fact that sometimes you need clay. But I'm also, I kind of agree with you, while not putting too much blame on the organizers, that sometimes you should, as a matter of fact, listen a lot more to your players, because they are the ones that bring in the fans, the media as well. But I'll move on to Sheyi. Sheyi, this question will be for you. In some of the major results we've seen, Roger Federer is still cruising. He won his third round game against Cameron Norrie, even though it was stretched to 4 sets. We also saw Alexander Zverev win. But to ask you the question, do you think there is anyone that can stop the Joker right now? I'm talking of in the men's angle. I know we've reviewed this several times in the past, but right now, based on retirement, based on injuries, based on those who are left in the 4th round, Zverev, Federer, I think Ilya Ivashka is also available, Lorenzo Sonego. Who do you think? Medvedev as well. Who do you think can stop the Joker?
Okay, to be sincere, I think our past review about the Wimbledon for this year, I'll still remain on that. I really don't think there's anybody that can match Joker at the moment. But talking about even your previous question about the states of the turf of Wimbledon, I think that can actually affect things in this particular tournament.
True.
Because we are talking about a turf that is slippery. This can cause injuries, and also don't let us forget about the bounce and the spin of the ball on that kind of surface also. So it's looking as if this can actually affect the winning of this particular tournament. So, but apart from that, I don't see any of these guys beating Joker. I've really seen most of them play this particular competition, and I don't think they hold the firepower to face Novak
Djokovic. And it makes a lot of sense. But before I put in my opinion, Tunji, you also have something to say regarding this issue about the weather and the court and the injuries these players are having. What's your opinion on that, TJ? Tunji? Okay, we'll just move on. I think we should just go on a quick break right now. When we come back, we will be going into boxing news, of course.
You want me to quickly finish real quick, or you want?
Okay, I think we'll just get TJ to start us off when we come back from our break. When we come back, we will be going straight into boxing. We'll also be going into the world of football, talking about the Euro 2020, Copa America, and also let's not forget the latest transfer news. We'll be right back shortly. Welcome back, guys. It's still your best sports show, rather, on radio and also on our YouTube page. It's News Instant Sport. I still have the gang here, so you guys should also be right there on your seat. We're moving straight to boxing. We know there are so many fights right now scheduled, both in the heavyweight category, but there are some other interesting fights for boxing lovers and pugilist lovers who will tell you that there are really great talents coming out from the ranks. And one of them is Gervonta Davis, who last week won Mario Barrios through TKO. I think currently he has plans to bounce between divisions for now, but there are several people that will argue that Gervonta is already making a name for himself as one of the best people to go down, or rather to go down as one of the best pound-for-pound fighter. Sheyi, I'm going to ask you this question. Do you agree with what the popular sentiment that Gervonta is shaping up to go down, or do you think he's currently one of the best pound-for-pound fighters?
Yeah, thank you, Kachi, for the question. I think at the moment, Gervonta is one of the best pound-for-pound fighters in the world. And we're talking about a 3-division world champion here. He has done it in 130, 135, and now 140.
In 140, yes.
This particular bout, you can see the difference between the two fighters in terms of the height and in terms of the weight. And you can also notice that the very first 4 rounds thereabouts, he lost it to Mario Barrios because he was still trying to adapt.
Figure out,
tell you what, the moment he was able to adapt to that particular bout, he became dominant throughout. And he dropped, I think he dropped Barrios around round 8 before he finished him up off around 11. Now, talking about this guy, we're talking of someone that has 25 fights, 25 wins, 24 knockouts. That is someone close to the baddest man on the earth, talking about Iron Mike Tyson. So I think it's about time people start putting him on that list. And also talking about his promoter, our friend, Money Mayweather. I think he's got a very good team also. Talking about Mayweather, talking about the way he has to choose his fights, also the motivation of actually being promoted by one of the greats. So I think
right.
everything is in line for him to perform fantastically well and to also be one of the greats in that division.
And what you said now just got me thinking, because we know how Money Mayweather really wants to protect himself. Tunji, I'm going to ask you a two-pronged question. One would be to close out this issue of Gervonta Davis. The other would be looking ahead to the July 24 bout between Deontay Wilder and Fury. Sheyi said something about him being promoted by Money Mayweather's team and how they like to select their fights. We know Mayweather to be pretty jealous. Don't you think a time will come when all the rave of the boxing world is on Gervonta Davis and Money Mayweather will be like, I think I need to set up a fight that this man will lose so that my record will stay intact. Tunji, do you think that at any point in time, the Money Mayweather you watched, you listened to in interviews, do you think he can sabotage a fighter's career? Just like am I overthinking it? Have I read too many spy and betrayal novels like I do today, Bob? Tunji. Debo,
Well,
I'm going to put.
From what can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, from what I saw in the bout, right? It was an outstanding boxing match, right? Up until the 8th round, the Mexican guy was in control of that game, right? And what I saw there was a mentor of Mayweather speaking to Davis, who was trying to be heady, trying to be stubborn in the 8th round. And Mayweather told him, he said, hey, I got your back. I have your back. I have your back. Listen to me. I'm trying to make you win, because based on the unofficial scorecard, the Mexican was winning the bout in that game. Until Mayweather told him, he gave it. I can't remember the term he used, but it was a boxing term. He told him, and when he said to him in the I think it was 7th round, at the end of the 7th round, he told him, hit him with I think it was I think he said, he made a statement regarding the kind of punches you give to him.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why you saw that when in the 8th round, Davis was going for body shots, because Mayweather's statement to him was, this guy, he doesn't think this guy can take the body shots. So that's why when he hit him with the body shots the first time, and I think it was the 2nd time, he went down. So I feel like Mayweather is in support of him. I don't think Mayweather one of his toys to fail, because I feel like he's somebody that wants people to look at him as, I did this for this guy, and it became a great person. I don't think he has that mindset that he wants him to fail. I don't think so. However, the Davis has to be careful with his attitude. His attitude, he's showing that he's a little bit of cocky, but I feel like Mayweather supports him because basically, number one, because he's black, and Mayweather also is black. So I feel like they're perfect couple.
So basically, Tunji and Sheyi, I'm the one overthinking it. I probably watched too many Nigerian movies. Maybe that's what affected us. Debo, I'm going to come to you here. You can just quickly chip in on what you think about what I said. But let's look ahead to the Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury 3. I think it's happening in a few weeks' time, if I'm really correct.
Yeah.
What are you looking forward to? Is this a fight you want to see, or are you tired already of seeing them? And secondly, do you think Deontay, after having, I thought he was beaten in the first fight that was given a draw, do you think he has learned his lesson, or should he just pack his bag because he's going to lose again in round 3?
Realistically, for the only reason why we have this strategy is because a contract was signed. I think, no disrespect to Wilder, he's a good boxer on his own day, right? And we all know what his secret is. It's an open secret. The only reason why I would give him a little bit of chance, just a little bit, is because he just changed his coach, right? So probably the coach could have given him a little bit of insight on how best to approach the match or the fight. But realistically, for me, this match is a misfit. Tyson Fury is always going to beat this guy. I don't That's just my opinion. I stand to be corrected. It's a misfit. I feel Tyson is going to do what he did to him during the second
first
match.
two fights.
Yeah,
Okay.
especially the second match. The second match was brutal. I think he's going to do the same thing to him. And I don't know. I feel it's a misfit. I'm tired
Right.
of it. I know. I told you I don't bet, but this one I'm going to bet, and I'm pretty sure Tyson will win.
I think because he's probably one of the biggest American heavyweight fighter out there, there will always be a market for him. Maybe for just the last time, let's watch him again before he starts to fight the likes of Ife Ajagba. Sheyi, I want to ask you, can you give us an update on the situation with Manny Pacquiao? Is this fight going to hold, or is the arbitration going to make sure this does not happen?
I think they're still locked in talks at the moment, and we'll just have to probably give them some weeks to know what's going to happen. But the whole world is waiting for the fight. I believe it should go ahead.
Thank you so very much. Just a quick Olympic news. We're going to have a much more robust and elaborate preview of the Olympics. We also would like our fans to be involved in sharing their favorite Olympic moments with us. But just a quick Olympic news. Over the last few days, the young American 100-meter sensation, Sha'Carri Richardson, was recently banned for 1 month, which effectively rules her out of the Olympic. And this was after she won the 100 meters qualifiers in the US. She was banned for testing positive to marijuana. Debo, I know you had very strong opinions about this. Typically, people get banned for performance enhancers, but marijuana was deemed as it's not a performance enhancer, so to speak. So why do you think this is justified? Or my question really should be to you. Do you think this is a justifiable a suspension? Or do you think the young lady just became popular in such a short while that the NOC felt they had to take drastic actions?
I feel I don't like to weep. I don't like to play the race card, but the question is always going to come out. If she wasn't a person of color, we should have been treated the same way. That's the first question. And the second question is, we live in a society where marijuana is legalized. They sell the shares to people. They sell it in stores across the cities. So why would you ban someone for using that same marijuana? And third one, even Nike came out in support of this young lady to say, see, we know you're battling through some emotional stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We're not going to clamp you because of this. We're not going to take away your endorsements because of this. So it doesn't make sense amongst Olympics to ban someone for 1 month, just 1 month,
Mm-hmm.
just because he tested positive to marijuana. That is not even going to enhance a race. Mm-hmm. It's like someone taking some kind of substance that actually reduces your performance. This is not something that will enhance our performance. I don't
Mm-hmm.
understand why they would do this. Like I said, I don't want to play the race card, but I think that is coming to play right now.
And I agree with you, Debo. I'm also going to, Sheyi, I'm going to seek your opinion, but the issue of what Debo said regarding not playing the race card is also rearing its head in swimming. The swimming organizers recently, I think it's FINA, they recently said that this heavy carb covering that recent black swimmers are using is going to affect aerodynamics and give them an edge. And they said it's because the current swimming caps, the current swimming cap tends to a specific head shape and head type. But the argument has been, this is a sport that historically has not had black swimmers in it. So basically, all the rules that had been set in the past regulating that sport has been because there has been no natural black swimmer with naturally long curly hair. Now, do you think, Sheyi, and this question is for you, do you think, is it a valid question, a valid statement to say, hey, maybe the NOC should take a step back and see how their regulations are affecting athletes of color, especially seeing that it's everybody's dream to one day participate in the Olympics?
Yeah, Kachi, a very good question. I think it's something they really need to look into. But talking about the association before coming out with this kind of changes to the sport, they would have also done their own analysis, investigation, series of they would have used series of people to wear these particular suits and have them actually swim, check the time when they are wearing it and where they are not. So definitely they will come with some kind of some kind of confirmation to whatever they're putting out. But at the same time, if it's directed towards a particular colored
She just say,
set of people,
the way it is.
people
Just say
would
the way it is.
definitely
Just say the way
people
it
would
is. There's
people would
racial
definitely
discrimination, there's racial
people would
bias.
definitely have
It
a
doesn't,
tongues
just
wagging.
doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense, and I'll repeat it and I'll
Yeah,
stand on it.
Debo.
You can sell marijuana to people in stores across North America. You can't tell people, because just to buttress what Kachi said. Sorry to jump in and if I'm being rude, I'm sorry about that. But we're having the first black female in the swimming team of Great Britain for this tournament for the first time. How long have we had the Olympics? And now suddenly they remember some people need to, when they wake up, that's when it doesn't make sense. It doesn't. For me, it's I don't know. It's petty. Just put it that way.
I completely catch it. I think Deborah is quite passionate about this, and I understand where it's coming from. I also share the same sentiment, but at the same time, the the association is going to put out their rules out, and there's nothing we can do about it.
All right.
So I
guys,
think we need to adapt to these rules.
Guys, we can spend our entire show discussing this and the impact it has on young Black kids around the world watching all this, aspiring to be Olympians in different niche sports and seeing how they are being treated. We can spend the rest of our show doing that, but we're going to take a quick break so that we allow Debo and Sheyi calm their nerves down. And when we come back, we will jump straight into the world of football. So many things happening in the European tournament. Have we seen the best game already? Details after we return. And we're back. Thanks for staying tuned with us. It's still your best show on radio, news, instances, sport. I still have my team with me. Like I said, we're jumping straight into the world of football. And what better way to start than the Euro 2020, albeit delayed for one more year. Our semi-final teams are set. I was about to say finally set, but they are set. We have Italy going to facing Spain in the first semi-finals slated for later Tuesday afternoon. And the second semi-final, it will be Denmark, the surprise team, in my opinion, of the tournament, facing a fast rising and gradually improving English team. And I'm going to start by just setting the pace for you. Spain obviously came through a potential scare when they defeated Croatia 5-3. The game ended 3-3 in regular time. It moved into extra time, and they got goals from the much maligned Alvaro Morata, helping them as well. And then they went further on to play. I think they won. I can't seem to just.
They scored 10 goals in 2 games.
The Spanish team currently, they scored about 10 goals in 2 games. I think both in the third group stage game, the round of 16 game, and then I think they were able to see off the Swiss as well. I said it during our production call that Spain and penalty shootout in tournaments, they are like, in Nigerian parlance, they are like Indomie noodles and egg. They always go together. I thought
Yeah.
Spain would never have a penalty shootout, but they did against a very dogged Swiss team who I felt lost because they were tired. Italy on their own won a game everybody thought they should have lost against the number one ranked team, Belgium. It was a masterclass of a performance, even though they lost one of their best. And to me, the player of the tournament so far is Spinazzola. And then England, after being goal shy in the group stages, got to the round of 16, did it against Germany. And this is the first time that the English team would win a knockout game
Against
without,
Germany.
first against Germany, secondly, without going to extra time. They did it against Germany in style, and then they turned up the notch and defeated a Ukraine team that was punching above its weight 4-0. Harry Kane couldn't score before. Now he can't stop scoring. Sheyi, my question to you is this. Considering the teams, the 4 teams that we have, and I did not mention the Cinderella story of Denmark, riding high on the emotions of losing their captain, losing their first 2 games as well, but barely sneaking in, and they've risen up the ranks. What are your expectations? And I want you to focus primarily on Spain versus Italy. Are we going to see a better game than we saw between France versus Switzerland? Jay.
Okay. Yeah, I was.
He was.
I was thinking at that point. Anyway, I think I can start from the Denmark team.
Yes.
I think I'm quite happy for this particular team.
Absolutely.
Talking about the way the competition started for them, and I think their major trophy in this particular competition is not losing Eriksen on that particular day. Now, talking about them losing that the match they had to complete on the same day that they were totally
devastated.
Devastated on the pitch, and they lost the first one, lost the second one, but they started getting themselves gradually from the third match. Now, don't let us forget that Denmark in this particular tournament is not supposed to be an underdog. Everybody seems to be calling them the underdog. I understand that because of the name of the country, but this is a country that is ranked 10th in the world. I saw an analysis today about a similarity in the Croatian team that got to the semi-final of the World Cup and the Danish team in the semi-final of this particular Euro 2020. And a lot of similarities in terms of the way they've played and their statistics. But you know the only difference? The only difference was their world ranking. Croatia was 20th in the world at that point, but this particular Denmark is 10th in the world.
Wow.
England, which has been like almost the toughest nut to crack in this competition, is 6th in the world. So it shows that this Danish team is actually filled with quality. And we should just remember that and put that at the back of our mind.
I wonder what quality you are talking about, anyways.
Anyway, Debo, in terms of when teams can play together as a team, I think at times that surpasses when you have quality. Look at France team. For example, look at the French team with a whole lot of quality and see where they are. Exactly. Now, your second question is about the Spain-Italy match. I think it's going to be a fascinating tie. Why? I think the Italian team, this particular competition, they've played differently to the way we've seen Italian teams over the years. Anyway, let me say the Italian teams that I've supported over the years, they've always been more defensive. But I think this particular Italian team, actually, they are good in the defense, no doubt about that, even though they have some old legs that are slow. But do you know what? They actually retain possession and
Yes.
really attack you.
Yes.
And that
yes.
is the reason why they were able to put Belgium to the sword. Because we thought that particular game was going to be the other way around.
Mhm.
Belgium with the ball, Italy trying to counter. But it was the other way around. It was
Exactly.
more of Italy than Belgium. So having that and having a Spanish team that has top 5. Do you know what I saw today? A particular stat I saw again today. The number of passes. The top 5 passers in this competition. Imagine they are all Spanish.
Wow.
Top 5, they are all Spanish. As in,
Wow.
you understand what I'm trying to say. So having those two teams play together against each other in the semi-final, I think is a semi-final for us to enjoy and not to forget in any time soon. But I still lean towards Italy for that particular time.
I'm also leaning towards Italy as well. Of course, you guys know I'm biased. My team is AC Milan. I'm definitely going to support the Italian team. But beyond that, Sheyi hit the nail on the head. The Italian team of yore that we knew, they finessed and fine-tuned the art of catenaccio, which is the art of defending. We expected them, after they got their first goal against Belgium, to sit deep, soak in the pressure, and see if they could go away with a 1-0 victory. But that was not what they've done, or they did on that day, and what they've done throughout the tournament. Instead, they've been the one taking the game to every single team they faced. I know that they played their home group games at home in Rome, but I mean, other teams also played at home, and they are not yet here in the semi-final as well. So big kudos to the Italian team. I personally think they will get to the final, but I think they will revert to form and go very anathema, so to speak, to their form and try and get the first goal, because no matter how much passes the Spanish team plays, they still have a very soft underbelly in that defense. We saw the embarrassing goal Unai Simon considered in the round of 16. So I think Italy will get a goal, sit deep, soak the defense, do those, bend the rules, so to speak, like Sergio Ramos. Sergio Ramos does not play like a Spaniard. He plays like an Italian. If you want to, for those of you who are much younger and have never seen a classic Italian defensive team play, all I will recommend is go and watch Sergio Ramos of Spain play. That is, they bend the rule to the limit and see what they can get away with. I still remember 1994 Nigerian national team losing to the Italians. It was just a classic case of nullify what your team can do best. But Debo, I will come to you. I know you like England so well, and I think on our Instagram page, you once commented that you probably think the English team football may come home, but football may just, I don't know where football is coming to this time around. But how impressive have you been? England has gone through this tournament without conceding any goal at all. Which is more impressive? Not conceding any goal at all and getting all the way to the semi-final, or what the Italian team has done now? They've surpassed the record the record they had in the early 30s of 31 games. They surpassed 30 games without losing anything. And then the young goalkeeper who is leaving Milan now, Donnarumma, has also went over 1,100 minutes without conceding a goal. Which to you is more impressive, and which should we applaud more in this tournament so far?
I would say going more than 1,000 minutes without conceding a goal. That's impressive. It's not something you see around the world, especially when you play in Europe. You play the European Cup and what have you. So it's not something that you see on a regular basis. As for England, I've been a little bit impressed with England and Guy Southgate. I don't really rate Southgate as a very good coach. Just for the record, but he has been able to do something right and has adapt his tactics towards whatever team is playing against, and he has done that. He has done it excellently well. I think he still suppressed the attacking Arsenal that England has by playing Calvin Phillips and Declan Rice in the middle of the pack. I still feel that strongly. But then and again, he has been able to adapt his tactics towards whatever team is playing. As to whether they will win the tournament, maybe not. I would, out of all the teams in the semi-final right now, realistically, it's only Italy that I expected to be there. Only Italy. Spain, they grew to the tournament. England, I won't say they've been lucky. I won't want to use the word lucky, but they've not been overtly impressive in this tournament, right? And Denmark is a fairy tale. It's just like we're going back to 1992, where they had to call the Landon brothers from beach in Miami. Say, okay, you guys,
Come on, play.
from the tournament, you guys should come and play. And they won. And like I told you, that was that's probably my first major European tournament that I watched, and I fell in love with Peter Michaels, the way he kept out the Dutch in the final. You know, it's a good one. It's a good fairy tale, but I can guarantee you the fairy tale stops it. It stops in the semi-final.
All right, so I know we previewed.
Debo, don't forget something. The last team that beat England at Wembley is the same Denmark.
It's the same Danish team.
But I'll be so surprised if Denmark can beat that fate. I'm expecting England to beat them, not because England is better or the best team in Europe, but on paper they looks better, and with Harry Kane coming into his stride at this particular point in time, which is a very good point. I feel they should do one over the Dane.
Over Denmark.
Italy should do one over them in the final.
I don't usually agree with Debo that often, and the listeners, you would know that. But I want to agree with him now. I read one of Harry Kane's interview just before their game against Ukraine, where he said he felt that during the 2018 World Cup, he started the tournament by scoring a lot of goals, but at the business end of the tournament, he lost his scoring touch, and he thought and he wanted to gradually progress and gain his fitness in this particular tournament. So with Harry Kane regaining his mojo and confidence, I think it bodes well for them. But it's not because Denmark will lie down like the Ukrainians did and allow them to be run over. I mean, Simon Kjær, who I must mention is a Milan product as well. I have to put that out there. And beyond Simon Kjær, who right now they have a Kasper Schmeichel that is echoing the spirit of his father. Dolberg has come from nowhere to become a star to look up to. It's been an amazing run for the Danish guys. I think their run also ends in the semi-final. But if anything would surprise me, it will be the Danes. But I'm also looking forward to a great tournament. I'm going to move to another set of questions, and I'll be posing it to both of you, but we'll start with Shay. In every tournament, we always want to see the players that would come to our subconscious, to the consciousness, light up the tournament. I mentioned Spinazzola for Italy. I mean, he's been playing regularly, but it looks like he's probably the best left back. I know Debo will say Luke Shaw, but I think he's been the revelation, one of the revelation of the tournament. But another young player who caught my eye has been Jeremy Doku of Belgium. How fantastic has this young boy been, especially with a half-fit Kevin De Bruyne? And we saw how in the second half of their quarterfinal game, he continually terrorized the Italian defense. It was a torture in the second half. I was not biased, but I kept asking myself, who is this young boy? Who is this boy? Who is this kid? How long do you think this boy would remain in Rennes? Do you think Doku is the newest Sadio Mane? What do you think?
I think the young man has quite a lot of years ahead of him. He's just 19 years, and if he keeps his head down and plays for the right coach,
Mhm.
I think he's going to achieve that. Because his style of play, it's one of those very, very difficult players to actually defend. If an Italian defender is having issues defending against a particular player, then you
Mhm.
should know that there's something in that particular player.
I
And of
agree.
course, with his age at the moment, it shows that he can be better, and it can his confidence will definitely keep growing.
Mhm.
You understand? So I think it can achieve that, and even probably do more than that, because he's lucky to be playing for Belgium. So I know there are some uh, there are some opportunities that will come to him that
Yeah.
even Manidin was unable to get
Those we
before
get.
he was before he became a Southampton major star.
Then to Liverpool. Okay, Shay, Debo, I know you have something to say about Doku as well. I will let you say that in one sentence, but to you, who has been the biggest disappointment in the tournament? You know, it's very easy to mention the like of Eden Hazard, who probably played a total of, I think, 74 minutes, I think, or do we look at Griezmann, who never lit up the tournament as he did in 2016? Who, in your own opinion, has been the biggest disappointment of the tournament so far?
My biggest moment of the tournament so far has to be Didier Deschamps. Didier Deschamps shows at this level is an experienced tactician, he's an experienced coach. At this level, he lost the tournament for France.
Mm.
So I would say he has been my biggest disappointment
All right.
in this tournament.
Okay.
And
All right.
for
Doku, yes.
is the no Sadio Mane. Trust me.
but I agree with what Shay said, that it's going to largely depend on coaching. And I'll give you two clear instances of two of his Belgian counterparts. And these two people had similar stories. I'm going to talk of Romelu Lukaku and Kevin De Bruyne. Young talents, also recognized for their talent at such an early age, signed up by Chelsea, but because of wrong coaches who never trusted in developing or believed in himself in developing youth. I'm talking of the special chosen one. I combined two titles now. The special chosen one, Jose Mourinho. He let these two players go for peanuts. They came back. They've haunted Chelsea. They've taunted Chelsea with their goals, even in the different clubs they've gone to. So I kind of agree that it's going to depend largely on coaching. I also agree that his trajectory is slightly different from Sadio Mane. Mane, like so many African players before him, most times have to start from the lowest level, and then they have to be transcendent. I thought Mane was really transcendent in Southampton, and he got very good coaching in Jurgen Klopp as well. But it bodes well for the young Jeremy Doku. And now I'm going to ask you, before we go to our final topic of the day, just stick it out right now. Who is winning the tournament? Just one sentence. Debo, who is winning the tournament?
Italy.
Italy. Sheyi, who's winning the tournament?
Football is coming on.
Coming up. For me, I think the tournament, the home is in Italy. Italy will win this tournament. And then we'll move on to the last segment of our show today. It's been an amazing one. I have to first of all say that. Thank you for staying with us. We move on to the transfer market and the free agency market. For the first time in a long, long time in football, we're going to have a plethora of stars finishing their current contract either at the end of the next season coming up or just by January 2022. We've already seen the arguably the greatest footballer of all time, Lionel Messi, technically become a free agent, even though we hear that Barcelona has made an offer, but the Spanish FA is trying to work out a few kinks. But technically, as June ended, Lionel Messi became a free agent. Sergio Ramos is out of contract, but beyond that, we have Leon Goretzka in Barcelona, in Bayern Munich. I think we also have Paul Pogba also becoming a free agent at the end of next season. Ansu Fati, the young Barcelona genius as well, Paulo Dybala, Pedri. I can go on and on. Sheyi, what do you think of this caliber of players becoming technically available at the end of the next season, especially with what is happening globally,
From
especially
January,
from what did you say? From
from
January,
January,
from
they can
from
sign
from
before it
from
goes.
January, basically from the January transfer market, they can start negotiating new deals with other clubs. How will this impact the power structure in Europe? Do you think almost all these players, especially those not playing in England, will come to England? Do you think Paulo Dybala, do you think Paul Pogba will leave the clubs they currently are with Juventus and Man U and make their way to Real Madrid? Or do you think things will remain the same? We're just making too much noise about it and none of these players would leave. What do you think, Sheyi?
Okay, Kachi. It's quite a different situation here. Seeing that kind of list of top class players being in this particular situation, that means in the next 6 months they become a free agent actually, because they can talk to any other club, and it's very strange. And I can tell you what has happened. I think the COVID impacted economy, affected parts of this. These guys, some of them were also supposed to have been moved on, but nobody to buy them. Where's the money? Right. Some of them probably wanted additional money to their money, but the club also is even trying to cut their costs.
Exactly.
So we're in a situation where only the people that have the money are going to take these players. Otherwise, majority of them will renegotiate and resign. Paul Pogba, I learned PSG is trying to line up something for him. I don't know if Manchester United is ready to renew his contract also. But I know Manchester United's strategy. Over the years, they've decided to let these players, what's it called, contract run into the last year before they sign them. Why? If you sign them early, that means you've given them, you could have saved maybe 1 year of a particular increment in their salary. And that is why everybody is doing that. And I think it's similar to the other clubs. That's why we have a lot of all these top players being in the same situation right now. So I think 60% of them will stay in their clubs. Probably 30% of them will
make some moves. Okay, Debo, I know you've been very keen about this particular free agency market, and a little secret, my listeners. A little secret, my listeners. The club Debo supports cannot afford any of these players. I just want to put that. I don't know what club that is, but I just know they cannot afford any of these free players coming forward. But Debo, who to you will be the biggest move? I also understand that in the media that Mbappe has refused to negotiate an extension, meaning that he is also willing to run out the last year of his contract that is coming into. Who to you will be the biggest mover, and who would gain the most by moving, and who would lose the most, either player or club, when all the dust is settled?
Just to start, thank you very much. Just to put a little bit of clarity to it, I think the clubs are silly. You can have a Paul Pogba, a Kylian Mbappe, a Camavinga, a Dybala run down their contracts last year. It's like all these clubs have turned to us now, and they
No, don't say that, Debo. Before you continue, let's not forget that the last 18 months, the global economy has been plagued with COVID. Barcelona, for instance, reduced their wage bill by almost 300 million. It's because they don't have money to spend.
Notwithstanding, I would expect clubs like Barcelona have Ansu Fati or Predi. These are young guys, run their contract down, and technically they can become a free agent and leave those clubs. What do you think? What do you think? Are those clubs that they are in right now? Do you think they will be at advantage at the negotiation table? They would not be. Pogba will probably ask like times 2 of what he has right now. So does it make sense for them to tied down Pogba 2 years ago down to a new deal for 3 or 4 years, and they don't want to sell him off, they should sell him off, or paying times 2 of what they currently pay right now. It's Dybala leaving Juventus with the decline we've seen in Cristiano Ronaldo. Is it the best option for Juventus? I don't think so. Opredi and Antifasu leaving, does that make sense? I don't think so. Camavinga is a young guy that we know is destined for top. Leaving Rennes for free. I don't think so. They could have given Camavinga maybe $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 and still selling for maybe 80 million or 70 million to a club that is willing to take him on. But I think the biggest loser in this situation is still going to be Juventus and Rennes. For the Barcelona guys, I don't see them leaving anyways. For those Preti and Antifasu, I don't see them leaving. But if they do, Laporte will get a very big backlash.
I don't want to call Rennes a loser because Rennes has historically been a selling club. They find unpolished gems, polish them and sell them up. It's always been their MO. Let's not forget the fact that they won the league.
Mokachi, sorry. Don't forget one thing. If a Camavinga that you can sell for 80 million or 70 million, least for free, and you've nurtured this guy from the scratch, that's a big loss to them.
It doesn't make sense. I think it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
And the only reason why I think
Imagine-
PSG is looking at
imagine
signing
how much they
Pogba
bought Mbappe, Kylian Mbappe. Now for Mbappe to leave for free.
for free.
Understand?
It doesn't really make much sense, but business is everything. I think PSG is also trying to get in some players. I don't know what they are thinking at the moment. I'm hearing rumors about Camavinga to Man U, then probably Pogba to PSG, kind of.
Or Cristiano Ronaldo to PSG if Mbappe
yeah,
goes.
exactly.
They need to tell those
So
guys.
I think so I think this is going to be very interesting in the next 2 to 3 weeks. Let's just wait for the Euro to finish. We'll enjoy the transfer market.
Thank you, guys. It's been an interesting time. I want to say big thank you and big shout out to Debo for allowing me sit on this side of the chair today. I hope you guys had as much fun as I did directing the questions to you all. It's been an amazing session. And until our next show next week, please never stop supporting sports in all its ramifications. Also, never stop speaking up. You can interact with us on all our social media handles. It's at News Instanta on Instagram, News Instanta 1 on Twitter, and News Instanta on FB. You can also watch this edition and subsequent editions on our YouTube channel, News Instanta Sport. Until then, it's bye for now.